Do you think that business owners like us, we have this passion, we want to do this, but do you feel like we sacrifice our own health to build the dream?
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel that the business comes first because it has to succeed because it's what I live on. I have to be there. I signed up for it. This is, I go down with the ship. And that's for you.
Oh, okay.
That's a new pug. I was like, when I ever saw
because it's the pug. Oh,
yeah,
I got you.
I was like, when I ever saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like the two together.
So this says born to be fabulous, so you know. Now, when we first did this, well, welcome to the podcast again.
Thank you, thank you.
So when we first did this, I said to you, well, you said what you want to wear. I said, whatever you want to wear to be comfortable, and you instantly said pajamas.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I have the smiley face, pants on, but you got the onesie in the air. So
I have about 37 onesies that I wear for all different occasions. This is like my go-to outfit whenever I can throw on a onesie. It's the best feeling.
Yeah, well, you won the pajama game.
I could have brought you one.
But when I was envisioning this in my head, I was like, I'm definitely sitting crisscross applesauce because
and
it
you're
fits.
going to see 15 different positions on the same way. That's what I do too.
Do you think you have ADHD?
I am convinced I was never diagnosed.
Yeah, for business owners, it's like a superpower if you can control it.
I heard that most entrepreneurs have ADHD,
Yeah.
undiagnosed or diagnosed. So.
And so when we first met, actually, there's some people that you just meet and you just click with.
Mm-hmm.
That was us.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
then we found out we're birthday buddies.
Which made it even better.
Yeah.
Icing on the cake.
Is there anybody you meet that you don't get along with?
Just in random public. In fact, the other day I was at a store and this gentleman was at the counter. And I wouldn't say there's anybody that I don't get along with, but I do not surround myself with people who are negative all of the time. And I try to spend more time with people who are positive and like-minded. But I do go out of my way to try to turn a person's day around if I can. And I kind of seek out sometimes, even if just in random public. In fact, the other day I was at a store and this gentleman was at the counter and he just looked like the most curmudgeon man you'd ever want to meet. And all he was doing was ordering a sandwich at the deli, but he just looked miserable. And I'm in my regular polka dot whatever, and he goes, well, you look really happy. I go, well, I am. I said, and you don't look like you're having your best day. And he said, well, I'm not. He said, I just had to go and get a shot. And I said, well, I'm really sorry to hear that. I said, but just think, now you're getting a really good sandwich. You're going to have a really great dinner. And he goes, I'm still not going to do that. He goes, do you know why I had to get a shot? He goes, because my wife is a nurse, and she helped somebody who ended up with TB, and I ended up getting TB. So I go, okay, but you're going to have the best dinner today. Yeah. There was no turning this man around. So I finally just said, well, you have yourself a great rest of your day. He goes, not going to happen. I said, not much more I could do, but.
Yeah, some people are Eeyores, and some people are Piglets.
And some people are Winnie the Pooh.
Is it Piglet or Winnie the Pooh?
Well, I think Piglet's like the nervous, anxious. Oh,
okay. Then I meant Winnie the Pooh, yeah.
Do you know that I heard that whole series, they're all different personalities and different diagnoses. If you think about it, Eeyore's depressed.
Okay.
Piglet is fearful, anxious, anxiety. Winnie the Pooh is the thinker, the level-headed. And then you got Tigger, who's like ADHD off the charts all over the place. Like each character, there's the nurturer, the owl, the what.
Who's Christopher Robin?
Christopher Robin is kind of the person who, it's his personalities. Those animals are his personalities and different pieces of who he is. And I learned that. I was like, all my life, I've been following this series, never even realized. But when you look at the characters, it truly is. And that's why different people identify with different characters. They take on that's who they're most like, or that's the person they identify with, because that's their personality. And it's so true. I'm a Tigger. Who would you be?
I don't even know. I'm not big on Winnie the Pooh, but I guess I'd be like Tigger.
Tigger, yeah, you're a Tigger. I think you're boisterous. You're kind of like, ooh, let's go, let's get this done. Like energy, even when you don't have it, you got it.
I think I did know that the Scooby-Doo though, that's about LSD.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure like the Scooby snack is like, like I don't know what we did wrong.
Oh, we're debunking all of our childhood cartoons.
I'm pretty sure Shaggy was on something.
He had to be.
Right? Like if you think about it.
He had to be.
Anyway, so people don't know, this is our second podcast.
Yes.
Like tell a little bit about you, because you have had a vast history of fun things that you've done.
Yes.
And what you do now and all that good stuff.
So I have always been a person who has found joy in being around children. Since I was a very young person, I was a babysitter, a nanny, a counselor, a camp counselor, a dance teacher. I mean, you name it. If there was a job that involved children, I wanted to be part of it. At the birthday parties, all the adults would be in one room. I was with all of the kids. Any wedding, all the adults are on the dance floor and I'm playing with all the kids. It's just what I've always done. So I knew that someday, somehow, this is what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And I was a dance teacher for 11 years and I loved every single second of it. But then, I had my own children and the opportunity arose to open a business, and a fun center is what I always wanted to do. Never thought that I'd have the money or the ability or the fortitude to put it all together. Went to the bank, they said yes. And to this day, I still pinch myself and say, holy cow, this is what I'm doing. And it's what I love and I look for. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's the most rewarding and wonderful thing I've ever done at the same time. So
I think we missed the part where you were a Patriots cheerleader.
A long time. When the uniforms were much bigger and I was much smaller. Couldn't wear one of these outfits back then. But I actually did the math. I was a cheerleader in 99 to 2004. That was 30 years ago, 25 years ago? I'm 54.
But that's when they started to win.
Yeah, but I joined the team and I would go do promotions and people would say, oh, what are you, Wonder Woman? And I'd say, no, I'm here supporting the Patriots. I'm a Patriots. And they're like, why would you want to do that? And then they started winning and would have never thought that we would have been part of the biggest legacy dynasty. I cheered the last game at the old stadium, first one at the new stadium. I attended 2 Super Bowls as the assistant director. I was the only cheerleader not to go to the first Super Bowl they won because they ended up 9/11 happened. So we were part of all of that history of the Patriots. And now it's kind of past their dynasty and they're winning. But I'm still in the
maybe you were the king.
Well, I always tell everybody when Rody Red joined the team, that's when things started getting really good.
What did you, because that wasn't a career.
No.
Right, but again, it's an organization that, and I'm talking about even, the way the Patriots did it, but the cheerleading organization, there's things you learn from that.
Yeah, well, I actually did it on a dare. I had a friend of mine that told me, there's a weight requirement to be a Patriots cheerleader. That's all I needed to hear. So now I'm going to make the team, right? So I go with a friend who was very serious about joining the team, and I went with her, and she unfortunately didn't make it, and I would have never thought that I was even I just wanted to dance, I wanted to perform, and the only thing that made me stand out from anybody in that group of, I think there was 600 women the year that I auditioned for 40 spots, and there were no redheads in the room, so I went home and dyed my hair red. And I came back and there was one of 3 redheads, and that's what made me stand out.
The other 2 people dyed their hair red too?
No, the other 2 were natural redheads.
Oh.
And I saw them, but there weren't a lot of redheads. It was all blondes and brunettes and dark-haired girls, mostly blondes. So I said, well, I'm going to look like everybody else. So I went home, dyed my hair red, came back, and I made the team, and they called me Rody Red. And that's kind of what, and I wasn't any more talented or whatever. I just think that's what kind of stuck out. And I had kicks that went past my head, and that was my trademark. And other than that, and I did it for 4 years. It was you had to audition every year. You had to keep going back.
Now you're a business owner, but did you learn anything from that experience?
Absolutely.
Where organization,
absolutely,
team training, right? If you're assistant director, you're training employees, but you were training cheerleaders.
Yeah. Well, even before then, I was at a dance studio, and she was a very strict dance teacher. You couldn't forget something. You couldn't be late. You couldn't do it. So I always had a very good work ethic. But I think that's what made me so successful on the Patriots team as well, because there was a demand. You didn't have to follow all the rules, but you also didn't make the team if you didn't. So you had to be, physically fit. So you had to be disciplined in what you ate and how you trained and what you did with yourself. You had to have the energy to make it through the practices. You had to do so many promotions. You had to make the time available to travel and go do tours and go meet people and do things. And if you weren't all of those things, then there was another girl to take your spot. So you fought for it. And it was great you felt great about being part of it because you knew you were part of a quality organization, but it was a motivation to say I don't want to lose my spot. And you knew that it wasn't just you were given it. There was always somebody that was available to take your spot. So it kept you on your toes.
Well, it's almost like being on a professional team.
Absolutely.
Right? Or an Olympian.
Yeah. Well, it is an organization that is unlike, there are cheerleaders. You could be a cheerleader for there were a lot of cheer camps and cheer companies, but this is a professional organization and you are representing a professional team. So they treat it as such, and there are thousands of women who would love to have your spot and could claim it at any moment. So you got to be up on top of your game, or like a player, you don't deliver your position, you don't do what you need to do, there's another guy that's ready to come up and take your spot, or they're going to test somebody new. So it does keep you on your toes. And the same thing with businesses. There are other businesses that are similar to what I do, but I don't think anybody does it like I do it because of the way that we love our kids, just like you. I came in, we looked at different dojos when I was looking for my son, and it just wasn't the same feeling. When you come in and you feel like you're part of something, that they know who you are, they know your name, they know your child, they're glad to see you, you feel like you're coming into something that is worthy of what you want your children to be part of. That's the organization, and it's different than anybody else, because there are places out there that might be successful, but what are they successful for? What is their success rate? I would rather it be because they're quality education, quality training, a place that are mentoring. My child used you for his poster.
Yeah, sure.
He wanted to be like you, and that's what you want. You want a place that your kids are afraid to be in the room with. You want them to be like I can see myself doing what he does someday because I feel confident in my training and I feel that he's going to get me to where I need to be and what I want to do. And to this day, he tells people that he did jiu-jitsu here and now he's in ROTC, and that was his motivation to get him to know that he could do those types of things that other places. I don't think it's more about what looks good for their school and what is good for them, and it works for them. And parents that sign up for that, they choose to do that. But I chose to bring them.
Or maybe they don't know there's an alternative.
Well, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
We had a kickboxer here the other day. She's like, this place is like chairs.
Yeah.
Like where everybody knows your name.
And that's what you want to do. What's going to make you want to come back every week, right?
Yeah.
That you're afraid that if you don't meet the weight or you don't, accomplish the goal, or knowing that somebody's going to cheer you on whether you failed or didn't do well, or that you're going to do good, and they're going to encourage you to do that next thing. And you push them. You get these clients to do things that they probably don't even know they're capable of doing, but you do it coming from a different place, and that's the difference. Like the kids at that come to my fun center, I expect them to respect me. I expect them to have manners, but I don't do it because, well, if you don't, then you're, every day's a new day. This wasn't your best day. What can we do to make tomorrow better? And they come in and they tell me that the kids that I'm the toughest on, I'm always surprised that they'll come and give me a hug and say, this is my favorite place in the whole wide world. And I think, oh my gosh, it makes you feel so good to know that they know that you're coming from a place that you love these kids and you want them to be their best. And every kid has a different best. This one might be that he needs to be more confident. This one might need to be a little bit more focused, but their best. And if it's their best and that's as good as it's going to get, then you got to be happy for where they're at and where they, what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, I think a lot of times too, if you see videos and stuff like that, and it doesn't really bother me, but internet people will be like, oh, they didn't do this right. What people forget, and I was thinking about this, is this is a training studio.
Exactly.
So you're here to get better.
Yeah.
Right? And whether you're, there's going to be a difference. If you start martial arts as a 10-year-old boy or girl versus starting as a 35-year-old man or woman.
Right.
There's a lot of differences there.
Right.
And, me, I've been training since I've been 8, but at 42, I'm out of practice, and if I do a roll, I get dizzy.
Yeah.
But does that mean...
you're probably still learning, right? Can you consider yourself, even though you are at the level that you are at, I tell my kids, I learned from them every single day a different diagnosis, a different kiddo on a spectrum with different abilities, and that I learned from them how to approach them, how to do things, that even with as many years as I've done it and as qualified as I think I might be, every single day there's something new that I'm like, oh, that worked, or this didn't work, or this is what I need to do, or that's how I got that kid to do a certain thing. And as trained as you are, it doesn't mean that you can't grow and still learn.
Well, in any professional degree, you have continuing education.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Even for my PT degree, there's so many credits I have to take every couple of years.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in here.
Yeah.
I think the difference is, are you learning about your craft,
right,
or are you learning about a business, right? And,
sure.
and a reason why a lot of martial arts schools don't succeed is they want to add more stuff to their martial arts knowledge while still running a business, but not learning the systems of a business,
right,
like how you run your business,
right,
and
or the clients, how they change with the times, and the kids are completely different kids than when we opened. It's a whole nother world.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
But do you so you're an entrepreneur now.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times what happens to us is we have a passion or something we're good at.
Yeah.
And then it turns into, maybe I can make some money on this.
Yeah.
And then it becomes well, I'm trying to make this survive, where, this was my passion. This is why people say do something you love but don't make it a job.
Right.
But other people say follow your passion. But again, if you want to make money off your passion, there's another aspect that has to come into it, which is the business aspect.
Exactly.
So now you're a business person, you're doing sales, you're doing marketing, you're doing customer service, right? Yeah. Do you think that business owners like us, we have this passion, we want to do this, but do you feel like we sacrifice our own health to build the dream?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel that the business comes first because it has to succeed, because it's what I live on, it's what I support my family on, it's how we roll. But I put everybody in my business, my staff, my building, the decorations, everything about it, the cleanliness, the maintenance, all comes before me. My appointments, anything to relate to me, to take care of me, all comes after. If I can squeeze it in to and if a tour shows up or somebody needs to come, got to make that appointment change. And I push myself aside. I don't take it. I've been there since 2018. I've never taken a sick day. I come in, I'll wear a mask if I think that I'm, I got a cough or a cold, but I don't take a sick day. I mean, I let my staff take time off if they need it. I let my staff do what they need to do, but I just don't. I have to be there. I signed up for it. I go down with the ship. So that's what I say, like during that whole pandemic and everything that was going on, it was terrifying. Like there were weeks I didn't get to take a paycheck. There were weeks I didn't get to do things, and you get tired, you get sad, and you got to come in every day and just be like, I've got this. And then, you have parents who are questioning your price increases or your ability to change what you're doing. And you're trying to let them know, like, I'm just trying to keep the doors open. I'm not trying, like, they see, oh, there's 10 kids coming in for X amount of dollars. You must be making a killing. And you want to say to them, but do you understand, like, it's costing me thousands of dollars just to keep the heat on or the air conditioning on and to keep the cleaning products and the toilet paper and the paper towels that have all those prices have gone up, and trying to show the kids, like, we're using one paper towel instead of two. And it sounds like such a crazy thing, but like it changes how much we're going through. Or like trying to show the kids, like, you don't need to use a whole roll of toilet paper when you go in there, because if I have to spend money on toilet paper, then I'm not buying. And the kids are learning. And they're showing me that, like, we did a great job. We didn't have to, like, we did what we needed to do, but we're not using excess. We're not, one pump of soap to wash your hands, not like going in there where before you didn't even think about those kinds of things, that was a priority. But like, if everybody uses one pump and really scrubs their hands and does a good job, one paper towel, we could probably go 2 months instead of 1 month on things like that. So they're learning that we have to change if we don't want the prices to go up. But I have to let parents know that, unfortunately, like, the cost of living goes up. So the care for your child is also a priority as well. And in order to provide that at the level that I'm providing, I have to hire more staff, or I have to get things in, and things are going to change pricing. So it's hard, but yeah.
I think, so you said, who would you like to hang out with? I have my group of friends I've been friends with, elementary school, middle school, high school. And I have another set of friends who are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Right? And there's definitely a difference of talking to somebody who has their own business.
Yes.
Because there's things you learn or things you're like cognizant about that you wouldn't before. Toilet paper is a great example.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys know how much toilet paper we go through?
Exactly. And it sounds like such a frivolous thing to say to somebody, and you feel like, oh my gosh.
You can really say that to entrepreneurs. Yeah, don't say that to some.
This is what I'm saying. Or like even the kids that come there, like the parents are like, my son said you had to talk about toilet paper today. And I say, but ask your son what we talked about and how they understand now that maybe they're going to go home and do that at your house as well. Or maybe they're going to realize that, I'm not trying to be stingy. I want you to clean your hands. I want you to wipe your bottom. I want you to dry your hands. But we don't need to go with all this paper towel that, like before, that was never a concern. And why not teach them how to be economical and using what we need instead of just because we have it, we're going to pull it all out there. Like even coloring pages, coloring books. Like I tell them, if you take a coloring page, before you take another one, color both sides of the picture. And they're like, oh, well, he really wanted a new one. I'm like, that's great, but then don't take a coloring page. Because like if you're going to take, and it sounds so, but now the kids, we're going through less coloring books, we're going through less toilet paper. And I tell them, you know what, guys, we did a really good job this month on doing things. I bought a new game, or I got a new thing. I was able to take that money and invest back into you guys again, because we haven't been able to do that in a while. And the parents are saying too that a lot of program or a lot of something, I always give it back to them, but I can only do what I can do.
Yeah, you definitely your eye becomes different on like what you are gonna spend money on.
Exactly.
Right, and what you're not. But when a business starts to compete on price, like lowering their prices, their service will go down.
Yes.
Their cleanliness will go down.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
The overall experience will go down. So there's always that business that can be like, okay, we're going to provide a superior service.
Right.
You might be more expensive, but it's up to the consumer to choose what they want to pay for.
Right.
Right? And like you are definitely a premium service. Not only your facility, which is great, but the way you treat the children.
Right.
Versus if I just hired somebody, okay, minimum wage to come in and treat the kids, are they going to treat them the same way you are?
Right.
Or are they going to have the same experience? No.
Right.
And
the communication, like I provide an opportunity for parents to call me at any time. We go back and forth. I remind them. I mean, a lot of businesses don't. It's up to you or you lose the money. I call them. I remind them. I tell them we redecorate the entire facility every month to meet. So the kids are always getting new games, new activities. And I let the parents know that like I was here till midnight last night changing all this because I'm so excited to see how excited your kids are going to be to come in. so that they see that it's all going back to your children. It's all going into it's not like I'm taking the money and I'm going to Florida and I'm, and if I wanted to do that, I couldn't anyway. There's no money left over to do that. But I mean, it's not like, you see some of these business owners that are claiming poverty and they're driving a beautiful car. They've always got a new thing. They're heading over. I tell the parent, I'm here every day with your kids. I'm never not here. So this is what I'm investing in, this is what I'm doing, and I'm trying to do it the best way that I can. And I have to say that I have the most wonderful parents who believe in that. Like, even now that I have to take some time off because of medical situation, they're like, can I volunteer for a day? Can I help you out? Can I be there after school? Can I do that?
That means they like you.
But this is what I'm saying, like, they're willing to, because they know how hard it's going to be, not to worry about myself, but to worry about the business and the kids that they know that I bend over backwards for. Like, if you need me to help walk the kids up, I'll help Miss Tiara when she walks the kids up, or if you need me to hang around so she's not by herself during pickup, I'll be like, they all want to volunteer and help out, and they've brought things that have been like, I mean, I have never felt so unbelievably loved and supported that, like, because at first I'm thinking, like, how am I going to do this? 4 to 6 weeks, I'm going to be out, I have to have surgery. But these families have like, do what you need to do, take as long as you need, everything will be fine, we'll check in with the teachers, we'll make sure we're all set. And I'm just like, okay, I can do this. And it's because of the environment we set up to let them know, like you did, had to take time out. The world will continue to spin.
Yeah.
The world will go on, and the kids will be stronger for it.
So do we want to go dive into that? Like, what?
Sure, we can dive in.
Unfortunately, our businesses right now are personality driven.
Yeah.
And I tried to remove myself from it. A lot of your clients are coming to see you.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're not there, that's going to be different. Where, like, if you will go into like a fast food restaurant,
exactly,
that was a chain.
Well, a lot of people are like, I can come and help you. And it's not, we're not just babysitting kids. I hug kids for a living. That's what I do. My number one quality service is people say, what do you do? I'm like, I hug your children.